Hey guys, it's Cassie again, and today I decided to do something kind of noir. I went for something a little darker. I saw this really beautiful piece of a woman standing in the rain, and I wanted to capture a similar essence. So I kind of had no idea what I wanted to do with this when I first started it. I didn't know like what kind of clothes I wanted to be wearing or anything. I just kind of started messing around with ideas. And at first her face is way too long. And I did like just basic shading, and I did it all in black and white-ish, like kind of a blue too, just to get everything down on paper first. And I had to resize her head like 6 times. It was really kind of frustrating. And then her eyebrows looked so angry. But yeah, the shading, I tried to stay really loose and just do shading how I would on paper. I've noticed that when I try to switch to digital, I kind of, I tighten up and I can't relax as much because it's not really my usual medium, so trying to work with it is really difficult for me. So trying to make everything look the way I wanted it to took a lot more time than I think it would have if I had just done it all on paper. I might experiment with doing things on paper and then scanning it in and coloring it, just because it would be a lot faster. Yeah, so I eventually decided I really wanted like a leather jacket type feel, so I went through and added all the wrinkles and the highlights, and took a long time, but it was worth it. I liked the way it turned out in the end. And it gave me a good idea of how I wanted the character to feel and like the expression that I wanted her to have. You know, you think leather, you think kind of like a tougher exterior. So I went through and did all of that. I think the hardest part about all of this was trying to figure out what to do with her second hand. Her right hand, I just couldn't get it the way I wanted it to, so eventually I was just like, no, it will be, let's just say it's like wrapped around her waist or something, because it was just really driving me insane. But I kind of did this concept where I went through and I did the whole thing kind of rough, and then I went back into little spots each time and messed with it and made it more detailed. And then I started working on the background, and I, for some reason, completely forgot everything I was taught about perspective, but it came back to me over time. So I wanted to get just a really rough picture of just like buildings, just she's standing in the street. I didn't want anything too complicated because that wasn't the focus of the piece, you know, it was just kind of there and I needed it to look good, but I didn't want it to be important, I guess. I just kind of wanted it to be there. So I stuck with a really basic palette. I added some extra shading, and then I went back to her face again. And honestly, the face was the most important part of the piece, so I'm not too upset that I spent a lot of time on it. I felt like it deserved a lot of time. Just like working on the buildings, I think I spent more time than I should have doing all the perspective lines and making everything look perfect. Especially considering I ended up doing like this rainy thing over it anyways. And I knew I was gonna do that, so I don't know why I spent so much time on it. But I think it's like the old kind of traditional, when you're doing something traditionally, you know, you do the background, you do it really, really well because you're doing it at the same time that you're doing the foreground. You don't have like the tools to do layers upon layers and make it all look better later. Like I said, I'm still kind of getting used to the whole digital thing and getting to work with layers and making it look all smooth and pretty as time goes on instead of doing it all at once. Especially like shading you can build up traditionally, but you have to have everything kind of laid out properly before you start. And with a digital piece, you don't have to do that. You can just kind of like mess around and see what works. So it's a lot of fun, but it's very different. It took a lot of time to kind of get used to. I'm still getting used to it. Yep, still fixing her face. Could not decide how I wanted her face to be. I think the eye was the part that was throwing it all off, to be honest. Once I fixed the eye, everything kind of came together and looked a lot better. The nose now, but I messed with a few different styles around the eye to see like what kind of style I wanted to do. Then when I didn't like something, I just got rid of it. I added in 3-point perspective for the rule of third, just to see, to make sure that I was putting her in like a good position. I tried her eye closed and then her eye open, and then I got rid of the whole background because I wanted to kind of make sure that I had this idea that it was brighter behind her to kind of frame her. Because before, the background was so dark, it wasn't really framing her at all. And she kind of like just blended into the background, and I didn't like that. Then I went through, and this hair, I just really didn't like it. I kept redoing the hair over and over and over again, and then I realized that the reason I was having so much trouble with the hair was because I had misshapen the head, which is kind of important. It's kind of a big deal. So I think I fixed it. I went back through, and after that it was just a matter of adding highlights and shading and highlights and shading, and then adding in color. And since I already knew, like I had already went through and done like the rain and everything, I kept turning it on and turning it back off to make sure that it looked good. Yeah, see, the hair was really jagged on the sides. I kind of kept it that way. I kind of liked it rough. But I had all these little mistakes that I hadn't fixed yet around the face and the chin that I had to go back through and carefully make look better without destroying the piece. It was kind of nerve-wracking. And then going back through, I touched up everything around her whole body because I realized that I just left all these little messy lines everywhere, which I guess is kind of normal. Finally adding some color to the face, and then I brought in some blues on the face too, because you know, the background is very blue, so she needed a little bit of blue in the face to kind of bring that out. Made the eye a little brighter, and I think that's about it. Fixed the hair, and done. So as always, if you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment about anything that you want me to talk about, or things that you want me to draw, styles, etc. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye!